if I remember correctly, you had a 2-week run through like Colorado and stuff, and then we end up in Nashville, and Masterson was finishing up the run.
Right.
But you had an audition in Nashville, second audition. So I was on the road, and I remember I was practicing the songs during the day. I would watch the show at night to see what Masterson was doing, and then you would get me up on stage for Barbie Doll, Love You, and I was all excited. And then we get to Nashville 10 days later, and it dawned on me, I'm like, oh shit, that's the Nashville audition. He's gonna pick a guy from Nashville. I'm gonna be in Nashville,
No way to get home.
be a Hazy or Graham bus ticket back to Austin and then back to square one. And so Drew got on the bus that day and he goes, all right, guys, I got an announcement to make. And you were doing when I was in LA that summer, so it's 2006, and without the band and everything, I came to see you play at Whiskey A Go-Go.
Oh.
Yeah. And I had talked to John Mike, I think, yeah. And so I came to see you, and Taylor Swift was opening up for you acoustic that night. It was like a radio show.
Yeah, I remember like it was yesterday.
So
they had hay bales.
Yes.
I
remember that. I was like, well, that's odd in LA, right off the Sunset Strip. And so I remember, I don't know if I talked to you, but I talked to Peter a little bit, and then John Mike, I knew him pretty well. And so that stayed with me. I think it was like August of 2006, and that stayed with me. So I went through like basically early 2007, and I was like, that was a killer show, And so the first person that I contacted was Django Walker.
You picked the wrong fucking band. You should have gotten in Taylor Swift's band.
No, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
I'm kidding, but it's funny.
The hair, I don't know. This is just...
She rocks, man. She's
great.
She killed it. Yeah.
She's great, but yeah.
It's funny when you say she opened for me because
I
tell my kids that. They're like, no way.
And she was like, what, 16 then?
Yeah, something like that.
16, 17. So anyway, so by February of 2007, that's when I had my freak out and everything. Mm-hmm. So I called Django Walker. And I see what he was up to, And, I'm about to play some shows and do this and that. Why don't you come to Austin?
You knew Django from
Wade and all that.
Yeah,
a couple years back. So I was like, that was my way back into Austin. So I go stay with Django. He had his own place, and
was that in the back of Jerry Jeff's house?
No, but I did stay there too. I had the opportunity to spend a couple of afternoons with Jerry Jeff.
That's great.
I think one time, I think he was a little bored because he wouldn't let me go. I was in his music room, and showing me guitars and stuff. Yeah, he was great. And so the whole plan was to start a band with Django, or to start with him. And I think time-wise, what was going on, Masterson was going with Sunvolt, and you guys were looking for a guitar player.
In 2007?
Yeah, early 2007. And my name came up. Now, I didn't know that was going on. So Drew contacted Casey Twist, and Twist got a hold of me right before I left LA, telling me that, there was a chance for an audition with you.
Right.
But it was my last weekend, so that night I got tore up. So I didn't even remember talking to Casey anyway. So I came to Austin not remembering that it was a chance auditioning for you. And so we got I don't know how we got a hold of each other, but I do remember you called me.
Yeah.
You go, hey man, this is Jack. I'm like, Jack, it's like, Jack who? I mean, I think because I didn't know, because I forgot that, that you were going to contact me. And
so when I saw you playing with Wade, that was during the couple gigs that you played with him. You weren't like with him a long time.
I played with him like for almost a year.
Then you went back to LA?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So that was like 2003,
so during
2004,
that time, that's when
2004,
I saw you.
2005. Yes. So I've been a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember Django was going to play some basketball or something, and I was just sitting in the house, I had the audition. That's right. So I went to the audition, and I thought, what? It's like, well, all right. I said, Jack is the real deal. I knew that you had the label and everything. Right. Number one, I was thinking, well, I'm pretty rough on the edges. Got the one Vox amp, the one, SG or whatever I had at the time.
It was at SG.
Yeah, and I was back, like the first day, backpack and guitar, an amp, that's an upgrade, and crashing on the couch, So it's like, well, and then I listened to the album, This Is It, and I loved every song, but I was thinking, man, like, you could hear the production, the sounds, a lot of layers, and I wasn't going to bullshit you. So I remember I showed up at the audition and I thought, well, it's Austin. It's going to be like 20 guitar players. And I show up and there's nobody. It's just me.
Right.
So I was like, well, this is kind of weird. I wonder if Jack is an asshole. Nobody wants to work for him. So I show up and Drew and Pete, you know, Pete, hey, buddy, you know, just cool and hanging out. And so you showed up and we played a couple of songs from the album. And then I think we did, was it Dim Lights?
It was Dim Lights.
Okay, we did Dim Lights. And then you had to go pick up the kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I wanted to say something to you before you left. And this is what came out of my mouth. I said, hey, Jack, you know, yeah, what's up? And I go, I would love to play for you. You know, if you have me in your band, I'll be professional, you know, no drama.
So you started off lying to me.
Right. It was all bullshit. No, but I remember telling you this, but I did tell you, I said, but if you're looking for a guitar player that's going to sound like the album, then you're better off either hiring the guys from the album or a Nashville guy, because I'm not going to be your guy. So you go, all right, cool. And then built it out. I was like, oh shit, what the hell is wrong with me? Like, you know, just be like, oh yeah, whatever. You need that sound, you know?
Yeah.
But I was such a raw guitar player that I didn't want to lie to you and then being over my head with the gig.
Right.
So I said, all right, well, I just lost that gig. That's great. And then Drew goes, you know, a little while after that, I was still at the rehearsal space there. And he goes, so what you doing? You know, I was like, well, I don't know. I'm just hanging out at Django's. I got no plans. He goes, well, want to get on the bus and go on the road? I was like, yeah.
Cha-ching.
So John, Mike, and Pete in the rental car went by Django's, and Django was at the house, and he goes, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm going on the road with Jack. He goes, oh, because I didn't really tell him what was going on.
Right.
And so if I remember correctly, you had a 2-week run through like Colorado and stuff, and then we ended up in Nashville, and Masterson was finishing up the run.
Right.
But you had an audition in Nashville, a second audition. And that was, I think the label had put that audition together for you.
Right.
So I was on the road and I remember I was practicing the songs during the day. I would watch the show at night to see what Masterson was doing. And then you would get me up on stage for Barbie Doll, Love You. And I was having a blast, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but it was getting along and I was getting the understanding of everything worked. And I was all excited. And then we get to Nashville 10 days later and it dawned on me. I'm like, oh shit, that's the Nashville audition. He's gonna pick a guy from Nashville. I'm gonna be in Nashville. You know,
nowhere to get home.
Be a Hazy or Graham bus ticket back to Austin and then back to square one. And so Drew got on the bus that day and he goes, "All right, guys, I got an announcement to make." And you were doing like, you know, whatever you do, press meetings and stuff. I mean, you were running all over the place, and I was pretty nervous that day. And he goes, "All right, got a big announcement to make. Auditions are canceled and it's going to be a rehearsal." And he turns around to me and goes, "Welcome to the band." And everybody hugged me.
I was like to say, man, I don't remember having that rehearsal. I would have not wanted that.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys in Nashville, they can play and they can do all those layers and all that shit. But I was like, no,
yeah,
man, you know, that's why we played Dim Lights. That's kind of every time I've had a rehearsal, we'll do whatever the hits are or whatever the songs are, and then piano player Billy Nobel.
Yeah,
it's like let's play something real simple that they don't know.
Well, you had Jay Jackson that played pedal steel. He showed up at the rehearsal, and he was in the band. But I remember.
So that's maybe what that rehearsal was about.
Yeah,
because we were going on the road with Brad Paisley,
mm-hmm.
and Borchetta told me that.
You had to have a pedal steel player?
I needed to country it up. I remember that conversation.
Really? Yeah, right.
I was like, well, I've always loved pedal steel players. But.
Yeah, Jay showed up. But I remember, so we went for the Brad Paisley tour.